Hey, what's up, everyone? Today I'm going to talk about why I didn't go to the Bitcoin conference this year, even though I had free tickets. And, it's one of those things. I've been going for over 5 years now. I actually really have had a lot of great memories at these conferences. I've been to both the Bitcoin conference, hosted by Bitcoin Magazine, but also the ones that are across the world, whether that's El Salvador or Czech Republic or other places. And, you know, I'll kind of lay the land. I think they've gotten old and repetitive. From my view, the speakers, they're saying the same things over and over. There's less new ideas and more shells. And I think a lot of that culture, a lot of that thing that drew me to it initially has started to go away. And that's just being transparent. Now, I think there's still a lot of great people in the space. I think there's a lot of great builders. I think there's a lot of great things being done in Bitcoin. I can do that at more of an arm's length approach, right? I also don't like, I did it in the Venetian Vegas last year, and I really did not like a lot of things about it. So, some of the things where it was really expensive. The Venetian, it was not cheap, the hotel. They nickel and dimed me for everything. For parking, it was like 40 bucks a day. They charged me an extra $55 a day for our room to check in early and to get our room. I had to pay extra. As well as each meal I had at one of the restaurants, it was like $110 with me and my wife. And so it was just so expensive. And it was just like, it didn't feel like the atmosphere was that great, to be transparent with you guys. Why are you doing it in a casino? Isn't a casino the exact opposite of Bitcoin? Now, don't get me wrong. I do like going to the casino, but I don't think the casino ethos and the Bitcoin ethos align. And to do it in a place like that, it doesn't feel right. You know, there are things I do like about these conferences, like these side events, right? I do like the running for Bitcoin. I do like these, unconferences, but it's turned more into a corporate touting event rather than actually building and trying to improve the fundamentals. I think David Bailey also, he did a lot of things. He's kind of the leader of these conferences. He did a lot of really, really bad things to personally enrich himself. I can't support that. I mean, he outright scammed people through this. It's called Naka. It's a security Bitcoin treasury company, and it was unbelievably corrupt how he was like promoting the ticker last year, and it's down 99% plus from the all-time highs, and a lot of people were burned in that. And so I think, I think he should go to jail. I think he should, but the problem is him and Trump are close. And the thing I've noticed is, like, if you are close to Trump, you are insulated, right? And I've seen that, even the Trevor Milton guy, he donated a ton of money with Nikola to the Trump family. He got out of jail. He's completely out of jail. He scammed so many people outright, and he's out of jail. And so I think the lesson here is you could support someone like Trump and do some really bad stuff and get away with it. So I don't know. My opinions are mixed on this, and I just feel really, really bad that people lost a lot of money. And I think the important thing is we don't continue to support that guy in his conferences. There's a lot of other conferences out there that are great. And so I think it's important that we put our money in areas that are better and that don't support that. It's also taking more of a corporate suit angle. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but it was just ever since the ETFs were approved, I've noticed a lot of the people going to these conferences are more about the returns. They're more about the yields. They're more about the shares. They're more about the metaplanets and the MSTRs than they are about Bitcoin. They could give two care less about what Bitcoin is. They just care about getting richer, right? And so I think that is something that is disheartening to see. I don't want to be around that. I want to be around builders, the medium of exchange, store of value, the properties of Bitcoin, not the companies that are trying to be on top of it, right? And this was the first time I've seen that. I think Vegas is a shitcoin casino. I think, a meal for two easily costs 120, and there's a lot of shady things. They put an automatic gratuity, they put an automatic surcharge. There's all these little things they do to just rip you off. No wonder why Vegas is dying. I feel like I personally have been getting ripped off at every single turn in Vegas. Every single turn I'm getting ripped off. It's Sin City in the worst way. My favorite speakers, like Greg Foss, he's no longer there. A lot of people I do look up to in the space, they don't go because of the stuff David Bailey has done. That's another reason I don't go. I also know, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars. I've been to Vegas enough times. I will go again to Vegas. I do like it, but it's not something that I know I'm missing out on. I can watch the conference if I want to remotely at home, and it won't be bad. The air is different now at these conferences too. I don't know if you guys have noticed it. It's very treasury focused, less focused on the core ethos, more focused on the shareholder. I think it started to drift once strategy entered the mix in 2021, 2022, and then really heavily when the ETFs were approved. This is not saying I'm not going to attend again, but I will say I prefer going to El Salvador or a conference in Europe instead. I think it's so key that we just don't follow these people blindly, honestly. So many grifters, so many people with the worst intentions that go to these things. So you got to be careful. I even when I was in Prague, there was some sketchy people I noticed. And so it doesn't attract the best people for obvious reasons. That's the thing with Bitcoin. It's an open protocol, right? There are things about it that are great. There are things about it that are not. Anybody can choose to use it or not. I do like those properties of it. But when it comes to, networking with the treasury people, I think that's a whole nother camp. That's a whole nother camp. I get why people are buying it. The retirements are limited to letting them buy real Bitcoin versus this other stuff. But I think in the end, we need to figure out, why are we here? What is this all for? Is this just to get rich? Or is there something else, right? And I think there's something else. I think there's something else there for us. And I think if we see something that we don't agree with, we don't support it. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Are you guys still going to the Bitcoin conferences? Would you go next year? It's in Nashville. I probably won't be going, but I definitely will be considering going to another one in Prague or another one in Eastern Europe. Those have been on my radar, but I'm done traveling for now. I've been traveling for weeks on end to Italy and all types of places, and I'm kind of sick of travel right now. But let me know your guys' thoughts, and feel free to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.